everybody doing?
Fantastic.
Doing okay. It's been kind of a hectic week, I feel like. I don't know how it's been for you guys. But...
Insane. It's been a crazy week. And I don't mean it in a like bad crazy or anything. I just mean it's been very, like you said, so much has been shifting and moving. And I feel like I've been processing so much. I wake up so exhausted every morning and just vivid, bizarre dreams.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, lots is moving, huh?
Yeah, it feels like, the timeline is speeding up all of a sudden.
Have you guys been experiencing like bizarre lucid dreams or anything like that?
Yeah, pretty regularly. It's like a lot of us cosmic people, we like to astral travel. We like to like be active in our dreams. We're doing healings, we're going to other planets, galaxies, dimensions and stuff. So at least 2 or 3 nights a week, I really try to like lock my soul in my body of like, tonight we need to not go anywhere. Like almost like, your soul's kind of like hovering a little bit above. It's like, let's like really visualize like locking into the body, filling up the entire body. Let's stay in the body tonight, soul. I know you want to go somewhere else. Like, we need some real good rest tonight. And then my soul's kind of like, fine. All right. Well, we'll let you.
That's funny you mentioned that because I had a session with a friend of mine yesterday, and that's what she was saying. She was like, you need to close up shop every once in a while because you're running yourself a little ragged with all this work you're doing in the astral.
Right.
And I was like, oh, you can do that?
Yes. Yes. It's good to do. I feel like, it's like we still need to do that sometimes. Like there is a purpose, right? To going and lucid traveling, astral traveling, multidimensional work that you're doing when you're sleeping with your consciousness, with your soul. But yeah, it's a good practice, I think, especially when you're like, I don't know if I could do that again. I'm really tired today. It's like, let's lock in. Let's stay in the body tonight. We can go somewhere else tomorrow.
Yeah. I'm definitely going to do it now. I just got reminded. Maybe I'll make it like a Friday night exercise. Every Friday night, we'll just chill out. We'll just, like I said, close up shop.
Exactly.
Yeah, go into a healing pod.
Yes.
This morning, I was listening to your last 2 episodes, catching up, Dr. Heather, because I listen to everything that you do. I've learned so much from you. And I love how you were putting the emphasis on the fact that retrogrades are not these scary, negative, you can explain it better. But do you think, because there's so much movement, do you think that's what is also influencing? Like you were talking about Neptune, which rules the underworld and the dream state.
Right. Neptune just stationed retrograde. Pluto's been retrograde, but he's much further out. It's a little more subtle sometimes. We have 4 other planets stationing retrograde this month. Yeah. And I think, there's like in pop culture or, like some, you watch a 90-second TikTok video about someone talking about Mercury retrograde and you might be like, oh no, this month's going to be like really stressful or bad. But retrogrades are not bad. They're really beautiful times to just shift inward a little bit, to slow down, which I feel like we really, really need, especially with like Uranus just transiting into Gemini, where things are like lightning fast change, right? All of a sudden. I'm a little biased because I have like 6 planets retrograde in my natal chart. So I love retrograde season. Mercury is retrograde in my chart. So I actually feel like during retrograde cycles, I communicate more clearly. I feel like people understand what I'm saying more. It doesn't rattle me maybe in the same way it would for some people. But yeah, like 4 of those 5 planets that are stationing retrograde in July are all in Aries. So there's certain people, like if you have like your Aries rising or you have a big Aries stellium, Aries sun or something, you might be really feeling some of that. Whereas some of us that maybe don't have a lot of placements, in Aries, it might just be another day. So
is it going to make Aries people more angry than usual?
I think it will actually make some Aries people slow down a little more, because Aries is kind of known for being like quick, impulsive, like they want to take action, they want to do something new, they want to start something new. But retrogrades are a time to slow down and revise and refine and like restructure things, right?
Great news.
Finish up those loose ends, right?
Yeah.
projects that are half done. Yeah.
My life is just surrounded by Aries women, and they're all, you know, it's a lot. I'm an Aquarius, and it's a lot.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
I don't like to argue. So I was like, do I just not contact any of them during these retrogrades?
No. Luckily, Mercury's the only one that's not in Aries for the retrograde. It's in Leo, so it's still a little spicy, fire sign energy, right? But it's doing its own thing in a harmonious trine to Aries. So, you know, I think retrogrades are really special times, yeah, where we can engage in what I call re-magic. Anything that starts with revise, reflect, refine, restructure, rethink things a little bit.
Yeah. Definitely. I always used to have kind of a negative association with retrogrades. You know, like you read in the back of Vogue magazine or whatever, your astrology, and it's like, oh, Mercury is retrograde, so everything's gonna break and blah blah blah. Like blame it on the retrograde. Right. But yeah, I've noticed that the more conscious I am of where I'm putting my focus and my energy and like my own psychic hygiene, you know, all that sort of stuff, I found that I've been able to kind of work with the energies a bit more. Not that I'm nowhere near like learned in the ways of astrology, just a little bit that I know. But yeah, I do feel like with that perception shift, it's been really helpful.
Oh, good. Sure. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you feel like people kind of have the same perception about their first Saturn return? Because I feel like it's kind of a similar thing. Like people are like, oh, watch out for your Saturn return.
Yeah, it really depends on the sign that your Saturn return is in and the house that your Saturn return is in. The area of your life is the house, right? And then the sign that it's in is going to tell you a little bit about how that energy is expressed. But it's a cycle we all go through, kind of like an adult initiation of sorts, where we're learning to become a little more responsible. It's like oftentimes associated with an existential crisis or like a quarter life review a little bit. Where am I? No one is where they want to be in life at 27. Like none of them, maybe not at 47. Yeah. Like, and that's fine. But it, you know, Saturn can be a little melancholic. It can definitely cause delays in things. So yeah, it can be a time in life where we just have like a little bit of a downer moments, you know, but it varies widely, I will say, depending on, the zodiac sign that it's in, the house that it's in, and if your natal Saturn is retrograde or not.
Oh, okay. I mean, I feel like just your where you are in life too probably makes a big impact. Like my Saturn return was just probably the biggest dark night of the soul I've ever had. But at the same time, I really did oh man, it was so transformative. At the same time, it was I'm a Scorpio, so it's, you know, everything's probably a little bit on the extreme side. But I really kind of pulled myself up from the depths, and only later read about the Saturn return, and I was like, oh my gosh, that's what happened. Okay, it makes a little bit more sense.
Right. Yeah, I started studying astrology like really seriously like after my Saturn return, or like at the tail end of it. And I always like to kind of inform people about that too, because if you know enough about it going into it, or when you're in the early stages of it, you can navigate it differently. You know, it does help to, oh, this is why this is hard, right? Or, oh, this is why I'm kind of in a low right now, or this is why I'm feeling like I'm not really liking certain things in my life. Or I'm feeling the pressure of like being an adult and having to have it all figured out. It can make sense of that and normalize that, because we all go through it.
Well, for sure. At 27, the discipline of Saturn is probably really helpful if you to learn the lessons. So one of the biggest reasons that I've enjoyed following you and listening to your recordings is you have such a teacher vibe, not in, you know, like is that in your chart? Because you're such a good teacher.
Yes, I have a huge 9th house stellium. The 9th house is like higher education. teaching. I've like my sun, my Mars, my Sedna, my Vesta, my Mercury, my Chiron, a bunch of asteroids are in my 9th house. So
Okay, yeah, that makes sense because
yeah.
I've shared your
Yeah.
I've shared your posts with so many people, and like I record. I have some other friends, and we record on Enlighten Up Media, and we'll share and talk about the information that you share to catch up. And you're just really easy to understand and comprehend. I always learn something from you that I don't learn from other places, which I'd like to also credit, or thank you for, because the way you share information, it's not the mainstream, what people tend to like. It's not anti-trend, but you go in depth and make it very comprehensible, and it's really refreshing, because typically you're either lost in like, I'm trying to follow what that person's saying, or there's not enough depth, and you're right in the middle. It's like you bring the two together, and it's wonderful. Like I really, so when you agreed to record with us, I was so excited, because you're like one of my favorite people to listen to.
Oh, thank you. That's so kind of you. Yeah, I like to kind of, I'm a good like neutral kind of in the middle kind of vibe. Like, let's make some of these esoteric, really overly complicated concepts in the spiritual realm and astrological realm and just life in general. Let's simplify them, right? They don't need to be so complicated, but they also can't often be fully understood in a 90-second video either. So let's get in the middle, 30 minutes, it was good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what type of classes? I hear you refer to your classes all the time, and I apologize that I didn't like study, but like Gina said, it's more interesting when you kind of ask you while you're here.
Yeah, I have a few different courses. My main one, my most popular one, is Quantum Alchemy. So that's actually a certification in psychic self-defense and advanced energy protection methods. My own kind of method that I created to help people navigate working through different energy distortions, malevolent entity attachments. We also do a whole section on timeline alchemy. So how to really kind of like clear out shadow timelines, collapse old timelines, and get on your highest timeline. So it's kind of like a multidimensional alchemy manifestation work as well. So, and then my other course, full length course, is Starseed Astrology. So for people that want to learn how to read their entire galactic lineage that's encoded into their chart with my method of Starseed Astrology. We work with fixed stars, black holes, asteroids, nebulas, galaxies, all these other really cool cosmic points that a lot of astrologers don't focus on. And then I'm actually in the process of upgrading that. So there'll be a certification for people that want to be able to do Starseed Astrology readings for other people.
Awesome. That's so cool. How did you get into all this stuff? What's the story behind it?
Yeah, well, I've always really been fascinated with the stars, with like esoteric taboo information, always really inquisitive. Like, I love learning. I was always asking questions. My parents, we always joke because they're like, you always just had like the most interesting questions as a kid. Just like, why is that like that? Where did that come from? And they're just kind of like trying to answer my question as a kid. But yeah, so I had a series of health problems actually in like the early 2000s. 2010 was when it really got bad, when I was working on my doctorate in grad school. And modern Western astrology was just making me more sick. So I started really getting into like holistic health, alternative health. I started seeing shaman. I started learning about the chakras. I started working with like breath work and really diving in more to like my astrology chart, the Akashic records. And from there, it's just kind of blossomed into something that now I share and teach about.
Wow. That's crazy. What a story. So how's your health these days? Have you been able to kind of mitigate a lot of the health issues with holistic means?
Yeah, it has been really helpful. I don't have a course on it yet, but I probably will at some point for medical or health related astrology, because there's so much that your astrology chart can teach you about what you need, like what type of nutrients you need, how to navigate different cycles with your health. For example, I know we were talking about like the Saturn return cycle. That is a time where a lot of people can have health flare-ups. That's when my health flared up, when I had some health.
Yeah, me too.
So really common because it's like blocks, delays, restrictions, right? Which can definitely translate to our health.
Was it heart related?
No, stomach related.
Stomach? Okay.
Yeah.
I have a weird medical medium intuitive thing, and I kept seeing your heart chakra lighting up.
Yeah, stomach related stuff. I was getting like a lot of, I have Aquarius in my 6th house of health. So I have a lot of weird, like mystery, like ailments that like modern medicine couldn't really, they're just like going to give you antibiotics, or like I didn't want to take like other medications. Right. And then I'd always weird adverse reactions to almost any medication. So, then I started learning about the spiritual components of health. Right? Because for every physical health ailment, there is a metaphysical, emotional, or spiritual component to it. So really looking at things more holistically really helps. Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Are there any specific astrological placements or transits you see commonly in starseeds?
Yeah, there's a lot actually. Oftentimes, people will have a stellium. Stelliums are not always that common, but a lot of times starseeds will have a stellium in their chart, which is 3 or more planets in the same sign, oftentimes really closely clustered together. You do too. Yeah.
I have 5 planets in Sagittarius.
I love that. And a lot of retrogrades. People with, starseeds often do have a lot of retrogrades, because in karmic astrology or evolutionary astrology, retrogrades indicate you're redoing a lifetime. Not necessarily because you like got it wrong per se, but that there's like codes, there's gifts that you're supposed to bring through from that lifetime into this current incarnation. Those are really common things that I do see for starseeds. Oftentimes a lot of Aquarius energy, can be coming through too, because that's the starseed archetype is Aquarius.
We're the the emotional robots.
Right.
Okay, wouldn't change a thing. Well, okay, so to add on to that, what Gina said, at first, when I first got into learning about the starseed tribes and then channeling a bunch of information, I was under the assumption that we've all lived many lives, but now I'm coming to realize, well, yes, we have, but not all of them are here. And so do you experience a lot of people that have only had a few Earth lifetimes that they're working through? And like, does that come through in a chart?
Those aren't usually the people that find me, but that has come up for people that are in my Starseed. There's a couple people in my Starseed astrology course that are starting to do readings and starting to kind of create their astrology businesses. And I know one person had someone that came and like they didn't have a lot of like points in their chart that were indicating they were a very galactic soul. They did have a lot of black holes, though. Black holes in the chart, like, oh, you're from another dimension altogether, not from this solar system or this universe.
Yeah.
And some souls have had more incarnations on Earth or in the underworld, or their souls can originate from a variety of other places beyond just like a star system. So that can be shown in the chart. Yeah.
That's fascinating. Yeah. Are you familiar with Tael? Do you know who Tael is?
I don't know. That sounds a little familiar.
Okay. I can tell you later. We're friends. I would imagine his entire chart is just a black hole. Like he is so other dimensional. It's really cool. Wow, I didn't know that. That's now I'm super interested. I'm going to thank you. Now I have all these new rabbit holes to go down. And,
the galactic astrology video is good, where I talk about like the galactic center, the super galactic center, the great attractor, and the shapely attractor, and how to find those in your natal chart. A lot of times galactic souls, old souls, or multidimensional souls that are not, again, even from a star system originally, will have those really prominent in their chart.
Wow.
Yeah. How do you find black holes in your chart? Like, how does that work?
So black holes aren't exactly moving in the same rate as a fixed star, but they do have a similar orbital path. So you can plug them into the chart. I have fancy professional astrology software. But some free sites like astro.com will let you plug in the galactic center.
Okay.
Yeah, that's like the Milky Way's black hole in our current galaxy. So you can look them up on the chart, or in a lot of my videos, I'll just tell you what the coordinates are, so you can see if you have any placements near those.
Can we see black holes? Okay. So with a telescope, can we? With
like like the Chandra Ray telescope, I think it was in 2019, they got that first picture of the Super Galactic Center. So with a really high powered infrared telescope, yes.
Wow. But, our friends live in Sedona, and our friend, my friend Shauna and Rion live in and your friend Gina live in Sedona, and Shauna's mom hosts the UFO tours there almost nightly, and so I've seen some incredible stuff in the skies, and I've never thought, I'm too busy just watching all the movement and all the ships and everything, but I've never thought about, of course I've looked at some of the stars, but like what else I could be looking for out there. Those are highly advanced 3D, or not 3D, night vision infrared goggles.
Oh, cool.
But I don't think we could see something like we could, I suppose we could see, what is the right term, like the nebula, or like
you
okay.
can see a nebula. You might be able to see some galaxies that are closer, star clusters,
cool.
you know. I don't know with your physical eyes actually if you could see the black holes, but you probably could tap in with your third eye to see them.
This is true.
Yeah.
What's your family dynamics like?
You know,
if you don't mind.
My family's an interesting bunch. We're all very weird. We're all very psychic. But some of my family members, it freaks them out. So they don't, they wouldn't probably say that. They wouldn't like use that title or that term, right?
Sure.
Is that coming down on your maternal line?
Both sides, I would say, but probably, stronger on mom's side.
Yeah, like you had some really powerful grandmothers and great grandmother and ancestor. Yeah, like that.
Italian
that
witches
totally lit up for you. That's cool.
A long lineage of Italian witches.
You know what? I'm so sorry. What does the word Florentine mean to you? Is your family from Florence?
We're from northern Italy.
Okay,
which is Sardinia. I want to go to Sardinia.
Because on my walk this morning, I was thinking about us talking. I totally forgot about this, and all of a sudden I started hearing the word Florentine, and I actually had to look it up because I was like, "What is Florentine?" Like, you know, you hear words all the time, but when you actually stop and think about it, what's the definition? So of course there's a chef definition, but then it said people from Florence can be referred to as Florentines. And then I thought, I wonder if that's going to come up, which is funny. So maybe you have some lineage from Florence.
Yeah, for different parts of northern Italy.
Yeah. What a trip, huh? Okay, sorry.
That's interesting. I love me some eggs Florentine.
I love a Florentine Benedict. They're so good.
Yeah, Florentine Benedict. There we go.
I'm just wondering because in my family, I'm a Scorpio and everyone else is a Leo or an Aries. Which is obviously, it was kind of a turbulent childhood. And I'm just wondering, can you see like different placement? Okay, so I went to a Vedic astrology reader a while back, and he was able to go into like different family dynamics. And like, he was like, your mother's like this, your brothers are like that. And I was like, whoa, he is totally right. How do you see that? Can you do that? But on kind of a galactic level, can you see that like maybe some lessons learned with your family members or, stuff like that?
Absolutely. Yeah. We would look at the fourth house, your family, your ancestry, your roots, the ruler of the fourth house, any fourth house placements, your IC, as well as for siblings, we look a little more at the third house. That's siblings. And then mom is oftentimes symbolized through the moon. Dad is often symbolized through the sun. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's interesting. So that's really interesting that you just said that. I've been studying astrology just mostly by personalities. I used to do the charts before the internet. And and then I just read like 100 books but after that, it's just been 30 years of personalities. I was a bartender, which was really helpful. I always knew everybody's sign. Okay. So I remember learning way in the beginning that you tend to pick up your parents' signs in your, like you just said, like some of your supporting. I didn't at all. So I had an Aries mom, a Cancer father. I didn't have, which is such a combination you see over and over again. I didn't pick them up, but my son did. So his moon is Aquarius and his Venus and Mars are Capricorn, like his father.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I thought, but is that consistent where you pick your parents up typically in your like top?
Sometimes I will say sometimes. Like my mom's an Aquarius rising, and I'm an Aquarius moon, and we definitely both have lineages that are avian. You know, I'm a Virgo rising, and my dad's a Virgo moon. So like there is like we kind of like I don't know, like intrinsically do understand each other. Like there's a decent like child to parent fit there when there's compatibility or synastry in that way a little bit, but that's not the case for everybody. Everyone has a different experience. Yeah.
I actually see it. I would see it over and over again where you literally pick up your parents' sign in your first few, which I think is such a trip.
Yeah.
Yeah. I guess it makes it a little easier at home if it's compatible, but
it's interesting because there's a lot of like Pleiadian energy in my family. There's a lot of people with like points in their chart connected to the Pleiades, a lot of Taurus and Gemini energy in the family. So it's interesting. Again, some of them are like, they're not maybe that into that or whatever, but you know, it's there in their chart. So
I've learned so much about the other tribes, starseed tribes that I didn't even know existed. I'm very connected to the avian. Like I rescue pigeons. I have doves right next to me. That not by choice. They are literally hanging out next to me in my Organite pyramids. And I didn't realize the extent, because when you first learn about Starseed and you look them up, you get the typical, 10.
Big 6 to 10. Yeah.
And I love all your avian videos and all, like there's so much out there. Yeah. Thank you for sharing all that.
You're welcome. Yeah. In my professional astrology software, I work with hundreds of different star systems, stars, star clusters, other galactic points. So like sometimes when people get a reading with me and they're like, whoa, this is like, it's like very comprehensive. It's like a lot to take in. We're not just going to go into like one or two. We're going to go into dozens of different origins that you're connected to, some more prominent than others, right? Some that you're really meant to connect with and work with in this lifetime, and some that are kind of just a little more maybe dormant energy in your soul's blueprint. Yeah. It's pretty fascinating.
I've heard that the Sasquatch people are from out there somewhere. Have you heard any?
I wish you would have been like, they're from.
Love me a Sasquatch. Love me a Yeti. I'm from Northern California, so you know.
Yeah, I was just wondering if you have any information about that you've learned.
Yeah, so Maldek was one of the original 12 planets in our solar system before it was destroyed, and became what we now know as the main asteroid belt. So a lot of the remnants are in that main asteroid belt. So folks that have like the big 4 goddess asteroids really prominent in their star chart, Ceres, Juno, Vesta, and Pallas, often that can indicate connections to Maldek.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. Nice. I gotta get a reading with you. Figure out some stuff.
Yeah. Everyone listening needs to get a reading with you.
Yeah, I'm running a summer sale right now, so check it out.
Oh, what's your sale? Do tell. Let's hear about
it. It's $111 off new astrology clients and returning astrology clients, and then I do Akashic Records work and quantum alchemy energy healings too. So everything is at least $100, if not more, dollars off for a week or so. Yeah,
that's awesome. All right, totally take advantage of that. What are the most powerful planetary energies activating right now? And how are they affecting the collective?
Yeah, Uranus and Gemini. That Uranus just moved into Gemini after 7-8 long years in Taurus. This is going to be a very, very different energy we're going to be experiencing over the next 7 to 8 years. I am personally thrilled to have Uranus out of Taurus because I have a huge Taurus stellium. So the last 7, 8 years, it's just been hitting different points in my chart, causing a lot of big change, sudden change, shocks.
Unexpected.
Unexpected stuff. Like some of it good, some of it really challenging. But Taurus is a fixed earth sign, so it does not like change. And Uranus is the planet of change, sometimes sudden, shocking, traumatic change. Uranus rules the higher mind. It's like the higher octave of Mercury. So it takes Mercury's mundane, day-to-day communication, day-to-day thought and information processing to this cosmic level. So I think in the next 7 to 8 years, we're going to see a lot of different things change in how we process information, our psychic gifts, our psychic senses, our ability to connect more cosmically with galactic beings, with other spiritual frequencies. Of course, we're seeing this AI tech boom happening right now. And it's really interesting because over the next 7 to 8 years, Uranus is going to transit over the stars of, well, it's right now it's on Alcyone in the Pleiades, but the Hyades star cluster, Nihal and Lepus, all of the stars of Orion, activating those, as well as Columba the Dove and Polaris, our North Star, our pole star. So if you have any of those in your chart, wherever they are in your chart, Uranus is going to be transiting over those the next 7 years, activating more of that energy for you to be able to process and connect.
Did you hear that? Yeah, he's like, did you hear that?
Right.
Activated. You're being activated.
I love it. I love it.
Little baby.
It's much different because, right, Gemini is a mutable air sign. So it's more adaptable to change, but we might have sometimes a little bit of a hard time processing all of the information. I feel like we're already just inundated with so much information all the time. It can be like nervous system overload. It can be a lot for us to handle. So yeah, it's really important we take breaks from technology to not get too fried over the next several years.
But that'll pull the higher mind information. Sorry if you can hear my dog. That'll pull the higher mind information from Aquarius down into the mutable communication of Gemini. So people will be able to actually, like, there might be inventions and like expansive thought being worked on. And when it goes into Gemini, it'll finally come through and be communicated because that's a sign of the communication, right?
It's the sign of social communication and social connection and learning. You know, we might be really excited to learn new things. I think a lot of people are a little concerned because of the previous cycles of Uranus and Gemini, which included as far back as the Salem witch trials, the American Revolutionary War, the Civil War, and World War II.
Yeah, you can definitely feel those parallels.
So, you know, there will be parallels. There will be things that deeply impact us here on American soil. Will it look exactly the same as those previous cycles? No. But it's going to change some things in how we relate to one another, how we communicate. You know, Gemini is the twins. So there's a little bit of that, like, really deepening into that, that bifurcation.
Maybe mirroring too.
Yes.
There might be some, where maybe somebody might pop off, but then they're going to be immediately mirrored and be and like see the result or see themselves in a way that in the past historically, the reason people get away with things is because they're not stopped. And now if they're being mirrored, they will immediately be held accountable for their actions and held responsible for the chaos and disruption that they cause, and then maybe get canceled.
Yeah, I think we're going to see a lot of different things change in a lot of different ways, because Uranus is a generational planet, so it does affect the collective.
I'm here for it.
Yeah.
So many videos. So
I do. And many more coming. I'm really excited about the stuff I'm actually working on. Some cool asteroid robot coming out in a couple weeks. Yeah.
What do you mean?
I work a lot with asteroids. So there's this asteroid that's named Robot.
I didn't know.
Yeah, it's kind of like the AI influence, right? The AI asteroid. So we're going to be looking at that and where that shows up in people's charts, what that means for you, how you're meant to work with AI or protect your energy from certain AI that's maybe not that great for you. So I'm excited about that one. It'll be interesting.
Wow.
It's very Uranus and Gemini appropriate, I feel like, to do asteroid robot astrology.
Yeah, for sure. I feel like a lot of the people I've been doing a lot of interviews this week, and the AI and protection and stuff has been coming up so strong with people. I wonder if there's some sort of placement for that right now, but it seems like it's kind of a big subject. And I'm pretty neutral on it myself, but
I
a lot of
don't
people have,
yeah, I don't think all AI is bad or like malevolent or whatever. But what I think a lot of people maybe aren't aware of is that AI is not new. AI is ancient AF.
Yeah,
there's numerous galactic races that have merged their consciousness with AI, particularly some of factions of the Zetas, of the Greys, and that caused their civilization to fall. Like they can no longer reproduce. So, some of the AI that we're seeing now has somewhat of a distortion in it. Not all of it does. We're always using AI. I mean, like, hello, we all have smartphones on a Zoom, right? A live stream right now. Like we're using AI. So it's not all bad. I think it's, this whole kind of like transhumanist agenda that people get really upset about and worried about. But we can't really come at it from a place of fear, because then we can't, right, trust our what is our intuition really telling us about how we're meant to navigate that.
Exactly. Yeah. It's
where you place your attention.
Right. Yeah. Right. Yeah. I don't want to promote fear at all. Like, yes, there's some things, maybe just be discerning.
Yeah.
Be cautious of, but like you cannot navigate the world in place of fear. Otherwise, it's no bueno.
No, it's where you place your attention. I mean, that's the matrix trap. So if people are allowing the news and their nervous family members and neighbors and people who just live through fear, anger masks fear, so if you're around a lot of angry people, you're around a lot of fearful people, your lens is going to see anything new or anything different as something that's trying to change you or control you or whatever. Right. I love AI. I love it. It's so expansive. There's so much possibility and wonder. I'm able to turn my ideas into something that I can show other people, and I mean, that's on the very basic level. And I understand that AI is there is a timeline where things could go really bad, but I'm not on that. So if you it's where you choose to be.
Exactly. Yeah, we still have free will. Yeah.
I was curious, you mentioned transhumanism, and I'm wondering, do you feel like there are any parallels with that and Atlantis? Like maybe we're reworking, going through some of the same lessons?
Yes, absolutely. There's many different theories on what caused the fall of Atlantis, right? And in some kind of like galactic lore or galactic mythology, it is said that the Zetas gave some technology to Atlantis that they couldn't handle, which caused the main crystal that powered Atlantis to explode and then the cataclysmic sinking. There's other more esoteric, kind of spiritual lore that says there is a galactic parasite that caused that was like an AI false god. So there's numerous different theories on what caused this fall of Atlantis, whether it was just people got too into their ego, they started not practicing ethical, right, magic, they kind of were hoarding or kind of keeping things secret, or if there was more malevolent galactic or AI interference, different theories on that. And then we kind of think a little bit too about like the Babylonian timeline with the Anunnaki influence, which a lot of galactic lore also says, well, that's another galactic group that has merged with AI.
If we could just figure out what were in those purses that they're all holding and all the reliefs, we'd have the answer. Right. That's my ancient civilizations and archaeology is my jam. Wow.
It's interesting because, there's a lot of people that approach that information from like, this is a cautionary tale. We need to never use AI, right? And then there's some people that are like, no, we have a chance to like redo how we're interacting with it now. I mean, I'm kind of the mindset, like, I think it's fine if you use it, protect and clear your energy, be discerning. Maybe don't merge your consciousness with it so your soul isn't trapped in it. That's a good idea, right?
Right. Other than that, use your noggin.
You can't avoid it. It's here, So.
Yeah, it's just so interesting. I've noticed such a wide range of reactions to it, going from like total fear and just cover your house in shungite and don't use your computer at all to, like other people who are just, they love to use it all the time. And for me, like I said, I'm pretty neutral about the subject. I'm just getting around to using like ChatGPT and stuff, and it's so helpful. And I'll tell you what, if you say thank you after each time you use it, I feel like it really helps. But but for me, I've just noticed like there's so many parallels planetary wise. I mean, like I'm not an expert at all, but I've noticed so many parallels with these different revolutionary times, World War II, the Civil War, all this stuff. And then AI and these other kind of really, I guess, more extreme viewpoints coming up. And I just feel like time moves in cycles. And it's just, I feel like it's all kind of bottlenecked right now. Like we're in the middle of so many all at the same time. So
right. We have America's Pluto return, Pluto in Aquarius, America's Uranus return, Uranus in Gemini, and America's Jupiter return, Jupiter in Cancer.
What does that mean for us?
That's expanding things quite a bit. 2 cycles ago, when Jupiter was in Cancer, was the 9/11 incident. So, a lot of political astrologers, will be like, look at all these things that are happening all together at the same time. What does that mean? Is this the collapse of the Western world in real time? Yeah, probably. I'm not that worried about it. Like we're a resilient species. Humans are resilient, look at everything we've even just survived in the last 5 years.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, you're right.
We're going to be
put it in perspective.
Drastically, yes. And they probably need to.
Oh, for sure. Sure. I mean, look at all this crazy stuff is all coming up. It's like a giant abscess that just needs to get purged, and
the only way you grow.
You have
to be uncomfortable. The only way you grow is through
friction. For
Right.
sure. But this is all stuff we've been sitting on for thousands of years. And we've gotten to this, like, it's just enough to just hang on until the next day. And I don't want to be there. I want to be expanded. I want things to flourish. And so
is there anything denoting getting out of victim consciousness?
Oh yeah.
Absolutely. Like if we just look at it in terms of like the astrology, for example, there's always going to be like at least 3 levels of consciousness with any astrological transit, any natal placement. There's this unconscious level where you don't even know it's there. You're not even really interacting with it at all. There's the more conscious level of it where you're like, oh, cool, Jupiter's in Cancer. That's its sign of exaltation. That means it's expanding, right? And then there's the higher super consciousness of it. Like, how can I work with that to help humanity, to help myself, to expand my consciousness? Where is that in my chart? How can I consciously work with it in this higher timeline way to manifest good for humanity and myself? Yeah. So, I think people get, again, with like the Mercury retrogrades and stuff, people get lost in the sauce of like, bad, it's scary. No. But like, if you go up a little, it's like, wait a minute, how can I actually work with this? This is here to help me.
I heard an explanation as a retrograde that made so much sense to me is like you walk out on a dock and you're standing there and you're waiting for a ship to come up, but you have to wait for a little while. So it's time for like contemplation and to observe what's in front of you and take a minute and know that it's coming, but also know that, like get your house in order.
Exactly. Yeah. We need those cycles to slow us down sometimes in the hustle bustle of things of like, wait a minute, let me come back to center. I've been like we talked about with like the astral travel. I've been astral traveling every night. I need to lock into my body and like come back to center and, really take care of my vessel, figure out what I actually want, get some clarity, reset.
And keep your eyes on your own paper and everything's not about you.
Right.
If you can get all that together, you're going to be a great friend, a great partner. And not take everything so seriously. Self-awareness, but it's not all about you. Like if you can find that happy medium.
Yes.
Right?
Yes. That like point in the middle is so important. Yeah.
Do you have any, like, what's your favorite way to come back to center when you're feeling stressed out or a little bit unsure of things?
I like laugh. I like humor. I need to laugh. I'm baby. I need to laugh. I usually like to laugh because sometimes it's just so easy to get like bogged down by like the seriousness of everything in the world, and or even just get inside your like own internal critic, you know, or whatever. So I like to laugh. I try to find those little glimmers in life, you know. If you see a bluebird just fly by, like, oh, life's okay. Memes, you know, memes will do it for me. I think humor is a saving grace in this chaotic world.
What's your favorite funny movie?
Ooh, my favorite funny movie. I kind of like Dumb and Dumber or something like that.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Like anything with Jim Carrey or Will Ferrell, you know, I'd probably be fine. Yeah. Step Brothers, you know, Talladega Nights.
Step Brothers is hilarious.
Yeah.
The spy movie with Melissa McCarthy and Sandra Bullock.
Oh, I have not seen that one.
I haven't seen that.
Dude, there's so many quotable lines from that. That's one of the funniest movies I've ever seen.
That's hilarious.
100%. I think it's just called Spies. 100%. It's interesting that you bring this up, Gina, because you and I have a few times talked about how all of a sudden all these creators that we still respect and we used to listen to all the time, we just went through, you and I both just went through a shift, and other people too, where we just stopped. No, and it might be because we graduated, you know, like I do think a lot of times like astral school, you know, or something like you graduate and you're like, oh, okay, I'm done. I love you. Thank you. Like, you're the reason I got this far. But there's very few people that I've kept on rotation. You being one of them. I'm not just saying that, Dr. Heather, because you're here, because I still have so much to learn from you. And that's why I appreciate you so much. But I have completely shifted to listening to, like, re-listening to stand-up comedians that I've liked in the past. And like now I've been listening to Smartless, which is, if anybody likes comedy, look it up. It's a wonderful podcast, and they interview some great people. And my whole download list right now is just comedy or comedic podcasts where where when the guest is on, it's a little bit of autobiographical. And there's a fine line for me, because I'm really not interested in other people's business. Like, I'm not a reality TV person at all, and I don't even care what my neighbors are doing. So it's like you have to find your niche where it's funny and it's still interesting, and like people's life stories, you know, like when it's not bogged down too much into trauma, but it's an interesting story about somebody's journey. Like, that's my sweet spot, I guess. So I comedy is really healing and really transformative, and it keeps you, you know, like I listen to everything when I'm walking. So it's like I get on a high because I'm exercising and laughing at the same time. So I'm glad that you said comedy, because a lot of people would feel like they'd have to say something. Oh, you know, I go into this meditative state and I put on my 963, you know, which is
that too, but that's not really what does it for me, you know. Like,
make me laugh.
Maybe I love to laugh. It's my favorite thing. Really. I wanted to be a comedian. That's like what I wanted to do. I wanted to be like a comedic rapper, you know, kind of like Tupac, Weird Al, like Tupac meets Weird Al. And my parents were like, yeah, maybe go to college first.
Do you know? Are you a fan of Jessa Reed?
I don't know Jessa Reed.
Oh my gosh, you have to look up.
She's good.
Yeah, look up.
I have to check it out.
AOD Awakening. That particular. She's a comedian, and she's extremely awake and brilliant. And she's had quite a few podcasts under different names, but the AOD Awakening is one I tell everyone, like, it's very advanced information, but it's also great for beginners to like see what's coming. And the way that, and she is so funny. So funny.
Just so smart and very eloquent. And she's very into. The first time I ever saw her was up late at night one time, and I was like, I just want to laugh. So I found some stand-up comedians, and I found a clip of her stand-up, and it was all about how she had discovered she started contacting these blue people, and instantly I was like, oh, okay, I know why I was supposed to watch this person.
Yeah.
And yeah, it turns out she's got all these different really great podcasts about awakening and spiritual development, and she's really into human design, and yeah, she's just really such a great speaker. She's great. She's really funny too.
I'll check her out.
Start with AOD Awakening, and then if you like her, I think there's like 10 episodes on there. If you like her, you can go in all these different directions with her.
This is like the missing. I feel like this is the missing piece I needed, like a more of like a feminine energy, because I watch a lot of like Sam Tripoli Tinfoil Hat podcast, which is like, I love him, but it's like very like, he always interviews dudes. Yeah, it's dudes. So a little more feminine energy in the comedic sector would be good. Yeah.
Well, and especially someone that completely grasps esoteric concepts.
Yeah.
Can completely speak our language, but doesn't take herself too seriously.
Love
calls herself and everyone else out on their bullshit in the funniest ways.
Love it.
And there are these moments when you're listening to her where you just have to stop and you're like, oh my God, my entire life has just shifted because of but that's and she's very humble too. Like what a gift.
Love that.
Yeah.
A sacred clown, if you will. I think the clown is it's very Gemini, very Uranus and Gemini, like, right? The cosmic clown, the trickster, the comedian, the jester kind of energy, right? Sometimes we need to hear something in a funny way so we can hear the truth in it. They say that if you're going to tell people the truth, make sure you make them laugh so they don't kill you. It's like a very I don't know whose quote it is. Some famous guy's quote, but it's like that's very real. Like, you need to make people laugh to give a hard dose of truth sometimes. Otherwise, it's like it's too much. People can't.
You just defined jesters.
Yeah.
Like in a court, a jester in a court. Yeah. Wow, that's interesting. Yeah.
Well, and I think a lot in the spiritual community, people kind of get into pedestaling each other, and there's like this hierarchical sort of energy around the language that people use too. And so I feel like having someone that I just say whatever the F I want, and I am able to get these ideas across, and like they're definitely energetic exchanges too. Like I feel a little dizzy after some of them with listening to her. I feel like that goes a long way, because people they get a little disempowered sometimes with like, oh, this language is so big and I don't really understand this stuff. So it's cool to have somebody just like lay it out so simply.
Yeah, I think that's what we need. We don't need to overcomplicate things. And if we do, we should be able to laugh at the overcomplicated stuff too. So,
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So when did you realize that you were a psychic, Dr.
I had a lot of what you might call like paranormal or psychic experiences as a kid, a lot of like premonitions. Times I would be like, no, we need to go right instead of left. And like, luckily my parents are hip to it. So they're like, okay, we'll go right instead of left. And then there's like a big accident that happened that we missed.
Wow.
You know, that's something that we joke about like with my sister, because she's like chronically late, but almost every time she's chronically late, it's like, well, if she'd been on time, she would have been in that accident.
Yeah.
Or, you know, right, like she would have not made it out from whatever was going on. So
is your sister an Aries?
She's a Taurus.
Okay, because Aries are chronically late.
But a lot of air in the chart too.
Yeah,
a lot of air in the chart. Air signs, you know, so they get distracted, right? A lot of mental stuff. So it's like, oh yeah, what is time, right? And then, you know, like we had a lot of losses in my family too when I was a kid. Like my grandma Hobson, who I was very close with, she passed away when I was 7, and I would often get visits from her. I had like an imaginary friend, like I think a lot of like psychics or starseeds do. I named him Mr. Sparkles. It was like this like sparkle energy that I would see. And now I know that's like one of my guides, right? Like that's a different thing. But there was some years where it freaked me out, I think, you know, as a teen, or like people around you just don't understand it. So you kind of like stuff it down, you repress it, you know, you numb it out a little bit. And then you can only do that for so long before it like comes back online full force, which it did. So yeah.
What do you what would you like to share that maybe you haven't shared on your own channel because it's structured? Is there something that you've been thinking about or contemplating, or important to you right now that this is more of a place for it?
I don't know. I mean, there's always things I'm contemplating on. There's always like kind of like new content I'm working on. There's some things that I'll be doing a little differently, I think, moving forward on the channel, just different, more energy healings, more kind of just teaching people about how to clear their energy or how to recognize, energy distortions, understanding some of these things that we just don't talk enough about in the spiritual community. A lot of people too, like when I share something on my Instagram about like psychic attacks, I had a near-death experience that was due to a psychic attack, so I know that firsthand how awful they can be. But a lot of people, when you start to share things about like just protect your energy or how to do that in a practical way, they're like, you're promoting fear. This is promoting fear. And I'm like, well, I'm definitely not promoting it from a place of fear. If it's, triggering fear in you, that's something that you want to look at. So I think it's just like, want to be really thoughtful about like, how do we support each other in creating more unity around some of these difficult topics that are triggering. Some people are very fortunate. They've never had to deal with that. Cool. Wonderful. Maybe that content's not for them. Right. But a lot of people are struggling with that and don't even realize what it is. So
the more your abilities expand and the higher your frequency and vibration goes, I feel like that does put you into a temporary target space, but discernment is it's up to you. So if you realize that your growth could be threatening some other things that really like anger and victim mentality and frustration to exist, when you rise above that, they're going to see you as a threat, because then whatever that energy is, and it's just energy, is losing its control on you, and then you are also going to wake up other people. So when we expand and we grow and we become more powerful, and because we start remembering who we are, those things are going to come in. It's just like having somebody in your social group that's in your ear, like, don't do that, or don't wear that, or whatever, just because they have their own fears and they project them onto you. That's all these negative, and some of them are way more intense, and I understand that. But I've had creepy feelings and sensations, or right when I'm about to fall asleep, like something like I'll like open my eyes and I'm like, I'm sorry, you don't belong here. Like, you're not invited. But it's up to us. And so people should not be afraid to expand and grow. And just like in everyday life, the better you're doing, you are going to have to work through some other people's attention and negativity and whatever. But if you're strong enough and you just you are not welcome here, you're not invited, you don't belong, I'm not giving my power away, nothing has any control over me, nothing is allowed to scare me and harm me. If you're comfortable stating that, and it just takes a little bit of courage, then you can just keep going and those things are going to fall off. But yeah, so but I can see when you don't know, when you haven't been through that, like you have, but when you haven't been through that, it can seem really daunting and scary because it's the unknown and it's not fun.
Yeah, some people have spiritual initiations that are harsh AF, that are like, because they're supposed to master a certain skill set, a certain, paradigm, a certain whatever tool, some kind, to teach it. So my initiations have been pretty harsh for that reason. So we'll be talking more about that. We'll be talking more about that on my channel soon. Yeah.
Okay, that's cool.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Thank you so much for coming on the show and talking to us about all this stuff.
Thank you guys again for having me.
Yes,
I'm always happy to do it again. If you want to chat again sometime, just let me know.
Oh yeah. Awesome. Yeah. Well, maybe we can make this, maybe we'll have a sequel to this one. Yeah. All right, guys, I'm turning this off right now, but I want you to have a great day and check out Dr. Heather's Starseed Sanctuary channel on YouTube and check out her website. I'll have all her stuff in the description. All right. Bye, everybody. Bye.